Hey everybody, Rob Woodbridge from Untether.tv here. This, what you're about to see, is a single clip. It's a few minutes of a much larger episode that can be found on Untether.tv. So enjoy this, but if you'd like to see the whole thing, just check out Untether.tv. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks. Without further ado, I'm going to bring him in here. David, welcome. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. Good to be here.
Yes, well, it's great to have you here. You know, I'm just trying to think back if we said anything that was negative about Evzdrop on that podcast. I don't think we did.
It was pretty positive. I appreciate it.
we are avid supporters of the location-based marketing world, and you know, we were really actually enchanted by what you guys were doing, focusing on the location as opposed to focusing on the person. So why don't you, for those people who have not heard what Evzdrop is, who didn't watch that episode, tell us about your Chicago-based startup.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks. Yeah, so we are a real-time location-based interest network, and essentially what we've done is we've taken place and used that as our interest graph, and that's why we call it an interest network. Place is the common connection point between the people in our community, and those are people that may know each other, but most likely don't know each other. What's unique about that, though, is those people that are standing in a specific place at a given moment in time have an exclusive voice of insight that's authentic, that's credible, that will be useful and or valuable to those people that are listening to places. So rather than follow a conversation or follow a person like you do on Twitter, you actually follow places on Evzdrop, and we call it listening to places. We're playing off of our brand, but it's also a listening platform for not only our community, but for those businesses that are intent on understanding the real-time emotions and opinions of people in their particular place.
So you guys, I mean, it's quite a bit. I love that. I love the concept of interest network, right? Everybody talks about an interest graph, but you're talking about a little bit of an interest network. Can you give us a little bit of a deeper definition of how you guys see that? I know that you described it through your business, but an interest network is as you said, it's not about the people that you know, it's about the places that you frequent, right?
Yeah, and the way in which our micro insights are delivered are through the place. So you add places to your feed, whether that's Soldier Field, whether that's Lululemon or Starbucks or whatever the place is. That's what you're listening to, and you're listening to the exclusive voice again of those people that are there at a moment in time. And so that's why it's really an interest network. Again, a social network is traditionally friends or people that you know, and what we're really creating is more of this network where we all can be connected by places of interest to us, or places we may not even know about. So within the app, we bring insights to people through one of the functions called Radar, where people can see what's happening in real time. And that can be a real-time promotion. It can be anything happening in that particular place at any given time.
So, I mean, is it fair to say that people can actually connect, though? So if I like a restaurant, or if I like a venue, for example, or location, and I keep seeing the same people, that are there every day, or every second day, every third day, does Evzdrop allow me to actually reach out to them and tap them and touch them, and not literally, but talk to them about that location, get more details about it in real time?
At this point in time, we're not connecting people. We do have in our backlog some ideas on how we might do that. So we don't need to share all the details of that right now. We do recognize that people do like to follow people on Twitter, and they might find their insights funny or provocative, and there may be a reason to be following them. But because we're so focused on place right now, what we really want to showcase is those insights from place, and we also want to sort of help the places showcase their attributes. So one of the functions we're building into this next version of our app is to include the Twitter handle for every business. When a particular drop gets tweeted, those businesses will be profiled so that they can see that it was coming from someone that was verifiably in their store, and they'll look at that data probably a little bit differently than they might from somebody that just might have tweeted it otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, location, you really do want to make sure, some kind of validation, something that puts a person who is actually in the spot or was in the location ahead. I mean, it's one thing to find new customers. It's another thing to bring existing customers back, and it'd be very interesting to see how you categorize them, or how you prioritize those guys. But I know it's a coming feature. I want to take a step back a little bit, because I want to understand the process. by which you got here. This company, you launched the app about a month ago, so that would have been in September of 2012, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
walk me back to the very, like, how did you end up starting and running Evzdrop? Where does that come from?
Yeah, so the idea, the inspiration really came last fall, late last fall, and a couple things were sort of happening simultaneously. One is, I would consider myself, a pretty decent social media user, but not actively. And one of the reasons, or not as active as some people, is one of the reasons why all the data coming at me from every direction, all of it didn't make sense. I would read about what a high school friend had for dinner that night at home, and I would scratch my head and wonder what I just read. But I also recognized the tremendous value in knowing what that stranger thought of the sea bass special at the restaurant that I was going to in about an hour. So to me, that was very interesting, and I didn't necessarily get that insight from traditional review sites, nor did I get that from other places, because it wasn't real time and it wasn't easily discovered. Even if I were to sort of look at a hashtag and follow a certain conversation, it may not give me that real time insight that I was looking for. In concert with that, I had an experience myself. I literally was at a restaurant having a special that was just out of this world, and I wasn't about to go home and write a long review about it, but I knew that if I was able to broadcast that to an unlimited number of people that were coming to that restaurant that night, there could be a lot of value in that. And so then the process began. Did a lot of research on what was working, what wasn't working with existing platforms, understood what the unmet business needs were, what the unmet consumer needs were, recognized some of the opportunities with the businesses. And at that point in time, my partner and I continued to do our due diligence to understand kind of what we needed to do to execute this, and we started developing our brand just after the first of the year, and really kicked things off in late February, the development of this, and that led us to where we're at right now.